So let's work on this button in the header. And we could add all the JSX code in here. I will create a separate component for this though. Again, you could do the same for the image here, by the way, but I will leave the image in here actually, since that's not a lot of JSX code. But I will create a separate component for the header card button. So header card button.js is my file name here. And we could create that component in the header.js file as well, since we're only going to use it in that file. But I want to keep that file lean and not bloated. Therefore, I will follow this common convention of creating a separate file. We will also need some styling, and for this attached you find a header card button.module.css file, which you can simply copy into your layout folder. And this includes some styles for this button. And then in the JS file for the header card button, I will add my header card button function, my component function, which receives props. And of course also export it like this. And then let's work on the JSX code for the button. For this here, I want to return a button, of course. And inside of that button, I now want to have an icon, then some text, and then a little badge with the current number of items in the cart. Therefore, I will add 3 spans in there. The first one will wrap the icon, the second one the text, and the third one the badge. And when it comes to this icon, I also got a finished component for you, which you can use. And that's the cart icon.js file, which you could add to the layout folder, because that's where we use it, so this would make sense. But which you can also add to the cart folder, because of course it is an icon specifically for the cart. And whilst in this application, we will only use it in the header cart button, you could be using it in other parts of the app as well, and therefore you might want to store it in the feature folder, in the cart folder, instead of the layout folder. But that is totally up to you. Either way, this attached cart icon.js file simply holds an SVG icon and not much more. And you can use that to, well, render this cart icon. So therefore here, back in the header cart button.js file, I simply want to import cart icon from, going up one level, cart icon. So I import it as a regular component because it is a regular functional component. And then here, in this span, I will add cart icon like this as a self-closing component. So it's a regular React component, even though it holds SVG. Because that is something you can do in React. You can use SVG code in your JSX code as well. Now, in the second span, I will have a text of your cart. And in the third span, I want to output the total amount of items in the cart. And for the moment, we don't have the logic for counting this yet. So therefore here, for the moment, I will just hard code it. Let's say 3 as a dummy value. Now we will need some styles. So therefore here, I will import classes from the header cart button module.css file. And then on the button itself, we can add a class which should be classes.button. Then on that span with the icon, I will add a class of classes.icon. And of course, these again, button, icon, and so on, these again are just predefined CSS classes in that CSS file. And for the badge, we therefore add classes.badge. If we do that, we can now use this header cart button in the header.js file. Here, I want to replace this button with it. So therefore, I will simply import header cart button from /header cart button like this. And then here, simply add header cart button. And now if you save everything, you should have a button that looks like this in your header. If it doesn't look like this, definitely download and compare my code snapshot because, well, this is all just JSX and CSS working together right now. So you should definitely have an output like this. The button, of course, doesn't do anything yet, but that is something we will add throughout this module. But for the moment, we therefore are done with that header. We added this header, it's finished now, and now we can work on the next parts of this application.